Hello everyone and welcome back to my new video in the series How I Work with Images. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to those who have watched the first video in the series all the way through. I was working with postcards and I'm really happy that you found the video so inspirational, and thank you for your comments and your feedback. Today I'll be working with magazine images, and this is a very experimental series. It's not about making an artwork, it's not about learning the technique of collage. It's more about the process of working with intuitive collage in different ways. You don't need a lot of materials. You can either use a little sketchbook, like your art journal for example, or a piece of cardboard, whatever you like to use. I also suggest or recommend that you have a little journal where you can write about your process. And I have glue stick and scissors ready. And of course, the most important part is to have a variety of images from magazines, from catalogs, from old calendars. You can either use a collection of images if you have one like I do. I recently just started to categorize some of the images that I had already torn out of magazines, or just grab your magazines and work with them, of course. It's good also to switch it up and have maybe a couple of new magazines for some fresh images that you don't know yet. And I highly recommend that you watch the entire video once to get an idea about the process that I'm talking about, this intuitive approach. Also watch yourself in terms of how critical you are, is the inner critic present, the inner judge. Just be mindful of how you approach this exercise. Don't expect a certain outcome. Don't expect it to look like mine. Even for me, each time I do this, I have a completely new outcome. It's always different. This is also what makes it so exciting. And when you look for an image, also try to do that completely intuitively, and don't choose any images that have text or words on them. We are working purely with the images and the power of the image. No words, because they already have a set meaning for us. And it's really about exploring and experimenting. You want to feel like you're open and trusting your emotions and your process. Especially in this episode, I'm working with emotions, how to approach them, how to connect with them through images. And oftentimes we might have already a particular image or symbolism in mind of what it looks like, and then you might be looking for a certain particular image, but then you've already lost the connection to your intuitive guidance. So just be open, just watch the video once, and then just really have fun exploring yourself. Alright, so this episode is all about how to explore an emotion through images. And emotions are such a hugely important part of our lives. We are never not feeling something, and it's kind of the lifeline. It's the energy, the prana of our life, emotions. And a lot of the times they can be intense and overwhelming or suppressed. And this can be a wonderful way to explore and investigate and get a little bit closer. Now, there are different ways. Either you could say, okay, I have an emotion that I've already identified. I know I'm angry, or I'm sad, or I am anxious, and I can already journal a little bit about that emotion and discover where does this anger, for example, come from. Why is it here? Why am I feeling it? What's its purpose? What's it trying to tell me? Or the other way is that I'm just waking up with a bad mood and I'm feeling kind of anxious, or there's an anxiety that's just underlying, and I'm not really quite sure what it is that I'm actually feeling. What is the emotion actually? Maybe there's even a combination going on. Anyway, there's some confusion. Maybe some of the emotions I'm not really allowing to come up. In that case, that's just what I'm working with, and I'm gently allowing the images to show me what I need. I believe that only those images will come up that are meant to come up and that are useful for me in this situation. So, just a word about choosing the images. So, when you start, think about either the emotion or the feeling in your belly that you want to explore, and then you can either go page by page through the magazine, and the first image that really seems to catch you, that seems to call you, you just tear it out and leave it on the side, and maybe later you pick a second one. Or close your eyes and pick a page, pull out a page blindly. Just imagine that the images are actually finding you and choosing you. Then I recommend to tear out the entire page, and then later you can see, okay, what's actually on the page, and then cut out the details or cut out whatever you want to use in your collage. So in this case, I had this pile of images, and I just actually closed my eyes and I just went through the pages without really looking at them. And then intuitively, I pulled one out. And that's how I started this entire process for looking into a feeling that I'm not so uncertain about. So at this point, I didn't choose any more. I just went with this image, and I like to have some really nice soft music, and maybe I light a candle. I really make this a ritual. Maybe I feel a little bit emotional when I see this image now. Looking at it, it can bring up so many things for me. Even if at first I think, I don't know at all what this is, I just breathe and I'm really taking my time to take in the image and to look at every little detail. Most of the exciting parts of an image I often see much later. They don't really become apparent right away, but they turn out often to be the key that makes the image meaningful, that creates the connection for me. So I really look at the image and I am trying to feel into it. I'm looking at the image and I'm asking myself, how does it make me feel? What does it remind me of? What does it make me think of? How could it have something meaningful to say in regards to my feelings right now? So I keep listening and looking at the picture and really also listening to my body, and continue to stay open and also to the emotions that might come up. And the process of journaling and getting a little bit deeper into the image, it's not an analytical process. When you journal about the image, just do it in a form of stream of consciousness writing, where you don't worry about punctuation and all this kind of stuff, if it's a complete sentence or not. Just write down whatever comes to your mind, whatever you're feeling, and it doesn't matter if this makes sense at all. It's exploring emotions and feelings. It can be something that's not so clear, it can be something that's contradicting. Just see this also as an opportunity, as a wonderful exercise to allow all of the emotions and all of the contradictions and all of the confusions as well. And one image can mean something to one person and then something different to another. There is no right or wrong way. Just continue trusting your intuition. And if you feel really overwhelmed, then maybe step away for a bit and continue the next day. I suggest that you don't throw away an image that you pulled out because you don't like it, or because you feel, no, this has nothing to do with my feelings, or I don't like it. Those are actually the most interesting images to work with, because they probably have something that kind of trigger resistance in you that wants to be released. Now, sometimes that one image is enough. In this case, for example, I have the feeling the image is more like a reflection of what I'm feeling. It just shows me my feelings in a visual representation. I feel a sense of excitement, but also calmness. And that creates this kind of anxiety that I'm feeling and what I want to explore further. So I think I'm going to look for another image that is supposed to clarify this one, or to clarify the emotions. There is darkness and light, there is a calmness, a serenity, and this rose, and then there's also this kind of darkness, and it's kind of ceremonial. So I am going through my pile of images again, of magazine pages, and again I was closing my eyes, and intuitively, when I felt this feeling in my stomach, I just pulled it out. It doesn't have to be like this all the time. You can just go, you can count 1, 2, 3, and then just pull out another page. And so I'm looking for something to complement this image, to clarify a little bit further, whatever this image needs now for my emotions, for my emotional state. So here's the second page, which has also lots going on the back and also on the front. And I feel drawn, after a while, looking at this page, at this image here. It's like these two hands, the fingers dipping into this bowl with oil in it, or holy water, something. It just reminds me of something like that, and so I really like it. Also, that there are two hands and there are two candles on the other image. There's something about this number 2, or the duo being together as two. I feel drawn to this image, and I don't question it further, and I don't wonder if it fits like visually with the other. I just cut it out, and it has something to say, and will find its position on the collage. And all the while I'm observing how I'm feeling, and I keep looking at the page. Is there anything else that stands out for me, that's important, that makes me feel something, that just where I feel the image is calling me, it has something to give me, something to tell me. And in this case, I really like on this image here how the woman in this lotus seat has her hands in this almost like a mudra, touching her solar plexus area. And this is also again something that makes me feel it's all about connection and sacredness, and I see it in the candles and the rose, and I see it also in this image here, the connection. The other one with the hands, here is again another hand, being in touch with oneself, um, being in touch with the emotions, allowing oneself to be touched. A lot of things can come up in this process, and you just observe them. Now, at this point, I haven't glued anything down yet because I'm not sure if I'm gonna be looking for even more images. I'm looking for how I'm feeling about this. Is there a story involving, or is there a shift in my feelings happening? And I'm writing down some keywords for me that have come up so far that are important. And then I decided that I'm gonna go through a third pile of images and pull out one more page for more insight. I just know that there's something missing still, and I have a pile with a completely different type of imagery. I'm looking for a really different energy to come in to complete this picture. And here it is. So this is a very different type of image, different type of symbolism. It's an old painting, and there's like a sun, and there is a black dog and a white dog, a really interesting symbolism, a lot of animals. And like these two stacks here, I feel very drawn to them. I usually flip over and see what's going on. There's another sun symbol there. And the sun, that reminds me also of the candles, the light of the candles in the first image. And I have the two candles and the two hands, and here are also a lot of pairs. And since I'm so drawn to the stacks, those are the ones that I am cutting out. The stack actually has appeared many times to me in other collages. I have also stacks in my SoulCollage cards. So they actually really fit with the context of what I'm exploring. So here's my collage so far. I have cut out the two stacks and placed them on there, and I really love them. And here's the sun, this ancient symbol of the sun. And they bring a new energy to the entire collage. And they also bring new feelings into it. It feels like the first image with the candles, it was all about, it just reflected back the situation in my life, because I wasn't really quite sure what I was feeling, and that's what I wanted to explore. So the first image helped to show me an image of my situation. I immediately recognized it, and then when those other two came in, they kind of confirmed a kind of sacredness, a kind of wanting to be in touch with something really special and sacred, and being in touch with myself, but also with others. And the stacks, like I said, they have been a certain spirit animal for me before, and they just brought everything together in the way they spoke to me in how they make me feel protected, they make me feel safe, they fit into the context of the story that is being told, and they really brought me a lot of ease, a lot of calmness, and connection, recognition. Yeah, so I really like these harnesses the stags are wearing, and they fit so nicely with this beautiful candle holders. And when I take away the stags, it's just there's just something important missing that's very alive, and that's those two stags for me. I have certain associations with them, and I love that it's actually two of them. Usually I only have one in an image that I worked with, and now I have two, and they go perfectly with the two candles. And so I encourage you to do the same. Just really explore the different elements, what they make you feel, and an image or a symbol that reappears that you have used many times before might not have the same effect on you. And then really ask, how am I feeling right now? And at this point, I often like to go even deeper into the process by using the SoulCollage method. I'm a certified SoulCollage facilitator, and I offer workshops once a month online. You can find all the info about that in the description box. And SoulCollage is a wonderful intuitive collage process for self-discovery developed by Sina Frost. And it's a wonderful method of exploring parts of yourself, parts of your community, archetypes, and also spirit animals through collage. And what is very special is the method of stepping into the image and then actually speaking from it. It's a really special way how to connect with the energy in an image, considering the idea that you are actually a part of that image, or rather the image is a part of you, the energy that's in there, the archetype that's in there, and so forth. So you can actually step into a dialogue and meet a part of you that is coming in the form, or it has come forward in the form of an image, in the form of a stag, a candle, a hand, and so forth. And that's an amazing way to really let the image speak to you and reveal its message, reveal its gift to you. And that is an amazing way to work with the image and to really connect with it on a deeper level, to experience a transformation, really, if you want. Because it's different if you look at an image from the outside and describe it from the outside, or if you really step into it and answer as if you were the image speaking back, as if you were the stag or the candle answering in the first person. It's really magnificent, the messages that you can receive that way, getting in touch with your higher self, because that's really who is talking there. So I had actually started a second collage, and those images ended up making the first one complete. Like you can see here, this is the final collage. It all came together in the end. So sometimes it's quite a lengthy process. It's like a development. It's a transformation. It goes through different stages. and it's never predictable, it's never the same process, it's never the same experience. And sometimes it takes a couple of days until you fully realize the story, and sometimes it works immediately. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching and that you try this for yourselves. Yes, and if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I will be very happy to connect with you. I have different sessions and coachings available, and I really look forward to hear your feedback, and until next time.